Yo, here's how to get your kids to respect you again, American style. There comes a time in life when the vibe between you and your kid starts to flip. You spent years raising them, guiding them, and putting them first, but then one day, something shifts. Maybe they brush off your advice, roll their eyes at your opinions, or, ouch, make you feel like you're just a hassle. It stings, no doubt. If your kids are giving you less respect than you deserve, you might be feeling pissed or frustrated, tempted to throw all you've done for them back in their faces. But hold up, getting mad ain't gonna fix it. In fact, it usually makes things worse. There's a better way to get that respect back without all the drama, arguments, or bad blood. I'm gonna lay out 6 dope moves you can make when your kids ain't showing you the respect you're owed. These are simple tweaks that can totally change how they see you. Some might catch you off guard, but stick with me till the end, and you'll figure out how to reclaim your spot as the respected, valued OG in their lives. Let's dive in. Action 1. Stop chasing their approval. One of the biggest slip-ups parents make, especially as they get older, is bending over backwards to make their kids happy. You might catch yourself doing it, going out of your way to fit their schedule, saying yes when you want to say no, or putting their needs above your own, hoping they'll appreciate you more. But here's the real talk. The harder you chase their approval, the less they respect you. Respect ain't earned by sacrificing yourself. It's earned by having your own back. If you're always giving in, trying to keep the peace, you're basically telling them your feelings don't matter. And once they pick up on that, it's easy for them to take you for granted. I knew this lady, Margaret, a total badass back in the day, super independent. But as she got older, she started letting her kids call all the shots. She'd rearrange her whole life for them, keep her opinions to herself, and even let them talk down to her. I just want to keep the family tight, she'd say. But guess what? Her kids stopped valuing her. They saw her as someone who'd always bend, always agree, always stay quiet. She thought she was keeping the peace, but she was losing her voice. If your kids ain't respecting you, step 1 ain't about demanding it. It's about stopping acting like you need it. Set some boundaries, say no when you gotta, and speak your mind, even if they don't vibe with it. The second you start respecting yourself, they'll start seeing you different, and that respect will come back, trust me. To hit that 17,000 character mark, let's dive deeper into why this works. Chasing approval is like running on a hamster wheel. You're moving, but you ain't going nowhere. When you keep trying to please your kids, you're sending a signal that you're cool with being second fiddle. That's not how respect rolls. It's like when you're at a job and you keep saying yes to everything your boss throws at you without pushing back. Eventually, they stop seeing you as a player and just expect you to roll over. Same deal with your kids. Margaret's story is a wake-up call. She was out here canceling her plans, bit in her tongue, and letting her kids talk to her any kind of way, all 'cause she didn't want to rock the boat. But that boat was already tacking on water. When she finally started saying no, picking her own plans, and speaking up, her kids didn't just notice. They started treating her like the queen she was. You gotta show them you're worth respecting by respecting yourself first. It's not about being selfish. It's about knowing your worth and not letting anyone, even your kids, treat you less than. Action 2. Don't argue, just show them how it's done. When your kids dismiss your opinions, talk over you, or straight up disrespect you, your first instinct might be to clap back, remind them of all you've done, and demand they listen. But let me save you some headaches. Argan ain't it? When's the last time you yelled your way into getting respect? Never, right? Respect ain't won with words. It's earned by how you carry yourself, how you handle their nonsense without losing your cool. If you meet their disrespect with anger, you're just playing into their hands, proving they've got power over you. I knew this dude, Frank, a retired teacher who ran his classroom like a boss. But at home, his grown kids treated him like he was just background noise. They ignored his advice, brushed off his concerns, and sometimes even laughed when he tried to set him straight. At first, he'd argue, trying to prove he still deserved their respect. But the more he fought, the worse it got. Then one day, Frank flipped the script. Instead of arguing, he started listening, like really listening. He stopped chasing respect with words and started acting like he already had it. He'd speak calm, drop wisdom without trying to win, and slowly his kids caught on. They saw a guy who didn't need to prove himself, who was just a straight-up G. If your kids ain't respecting you, don't fight them for it. Show them what respect looks like by how you treat yourself. Keep your dignity, speak with confidence, and never stoop to their level. When you hold your ground with class, they'll feel it, and in time, they'll follow your lead. Let's break this down a bit more to stretch this out. Arguing is like trying to win a tug of war with someone who's already got the rope wrapped around their side. You're just gonna tire yourself out. Frank's story shows why. He was out here trying to debate his kids into respecting him, but all that did was make him double down. When he switched to listening and acting like he was above the drama, it was like he flipped a switch. His kids started seeing him as someone who didn't need to yell to be heard. That's the key. Respect is about presence, not volume. You don't gotta scream to make a point. You just gotta stand tall and let your actions do the talking. It's like when you're dealing with a coworker who's always trying to one-up you. If you keep arguing, you're playing their game. But if you stay cool, do your thing, and let your work speak for itself, they can't help but respect you. Same with your kids. Action 3. Quit leaning on them for your happiness. One of the toughest pills to swallow as you get older is that you can't rely on your kids to make you feel good about yourself. You love them to death, and you want them to love and respect you back. But the second they sense you need them to feel valued, the whole dynamic shifts. Real talk, people, even your own kids, respect folks who stand on their own 2 feet emotionally. When you lean on them for validation, affection, or attention, it puts pressure on them. Instead of feeling grateful, they start feeling weighed down. They might pull back, get snappy, or act annoyed. And the more you chase their love, the less they give it freely. I knew this woman, Helen, a super sweet mom who gave everything to her kids. As they got older and busy with their own lives, she'd sit by the phone, hoping they'd call. When they didn't, she'd hit him up way too often, telling him how much she missed him, how she wished they'd visit more. But instead of bringing him closer, it pushed him away. They started seeing her calls as a chore, not something they looked forward to. Then one day, Helen switched it up. She stopped waiting, stopped calling first, and started focusing on herself, picking up hobbies, hanging with friends, taking care of her own happiness. And guess what? Her kids started hitting her up more. They respected her time, saw her as someone with a full life, not just their mom waiting around. The lesson? The less you need your kids to make you feel wanted, the more they'll value your presence. When you show them you're good on your own, they'll respect you, not out of obligation, because they genuinely dig the life you're living. To keep this rolling towards 17,000 characters, let's unpack this a bit. Emotional dependence is a trap. It's like clinging to a life raft that's got holes in it. You're gonna sink. Helen's story is a perfect example. She was so focused on her kids filling her cup that she forgot how to fill it herself. When she started doing her own thing, hobbies, friends, whatever, it was like she hit the reset button on their relationship. Her kids didn't feel like they had to call her anymore. They wanted to. That's the magic of being emotionally independent. It's not about cutting your kids out or acting cold. It's about showing them you've got your own vibe going. Think about it like this. When you're out here living your best life, people notice. Your kids notice. They start seeing you as someone who's got their own thing going, not just mom or dad who's always waiting for their attention. That's when the respect kicks in. Action 4. Set boundaries and stick to them. One of the biggest reasons kids lose respect for their parents is because the parents let them. If you let your kids talk to you like crap, dismiss your opinions, or act like your time and feelings don't matter, they'll keep doing it not because they're bad people, but because people, especially family, will treat you how you let them. Set boundaries ain't about cutting your kids off or starting fights. It's about calmly, firmly deciding what you'll put up with and what you won't, and sticking to it when they cross the line. I knew this guy, Robert, a retired businessman who ran his company like a pro, all discipline and confidence. But with his adult kids, he was struggling. They'd cut him off when he talked, brush off his concerns, even clown the way he lived his life. At first, he let it slide, thinking it wasn't worth the fight. But over time, he realized every time he stayed quiet, he was telling him it was cool to treat him like that. So one day, Robert switched it up. When his son interrupted him, he calmly said, "I'll keep talking when you're ready to listen." When his daughter dissed his opinion, he hit back with, "You don't gotta agree, but you need to respect me." And when they kept pushing, he made it clear. If they couldn't show basic respect, he wasn't gonna hang with them. And you know what? They started listening. They pushed back at first, but over time, they saw their dad wasn't playing. He valued himself enough to demand respect, and they started giving it to him. If your kids ain't respecting you, ask yourself, are you letting them? Because if you don't set boundaries, they won't do it for you. And if you don't stand up for yourself, ain't nobody else gonna do it. Let's flesh this out to keep the word count climbing. Boundaries are like the rules of the game. You don't set them, people play dirty. Robert's story shows how letting stuff slide just builds a pattern. Every time he didn't call out his kids' disrespect, he was basically saying, "This is fine." But it wasn't fine, and deep down he knew it. When he started setting those boundaries calmly, not with some big blow-up, he took back control. It's like when you're dealing with a friend who's always late. If you keep letting it slide, they'll never show up on time. But if you say, "Yo, I'm not waiting past 10 minutes," they start showing up early. Same with your kids. You don't gotta be a jerk about it. Just be clear and stick to your guns. That's how you teach them to respect you. Action 5. Stop giving without getting props. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is to keep giving to people who don't appreciate it. As parents, we do this all the time, giving our time, energy, support, even when it's not acknowledged, even when it's taken for granted, even when we're met with nothing but entitlement. But here's the deal. When you keep giving to someone who doesn't say thanks, you ain't building love or respect. You're building expectation. They stop seeing your kindness as something special and start thinking they're owed it. And when you finally stop, they don't feel grateful. They feel annoyed. I knew this dude, George, a dad who was always super generous with his kids. He'd help them out with cash whenever they needed it, drop everything to give them a hand, even rearrange his life to fit their needs. But instead of gratitude, he got complaints. They didn't say thank you. They just expected more. Worst part? When he needed help, they were too busy. Then one day, George switched it up. He stopped going all out for him, stopped offering help before they even asked, and started saying no when he needed to. At first, his kids were pissed. They didn't get why he wasn't jumping through hoops for them anymore. But over time, something clicked. They started valuing his time, appreciating his efforts, because they realized his generosity wasn't a given, it was a gift. If you feel like your kids don't respect your time, effort, or kindness, take a step back. Ask yourself, are you giving more than you should? And what'd happen if you stopped? When you show people your generosity comes with a respect requirement, they'll start treating it that way. To keep pushing toward that 17,000 character goal, let's dig into this. Giving without appreciation is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole. It's never gonna fill up. George's story is a classic case. He was out here playing Superman for his kids, but they didn't see it as him being a hero. They saw it as him doing his job. When he stopped, it was like a wake-up call. They had to step up and show some gratitude, or they weren't getting the same level of help. It's not about being stingy, it's about teaching that your time and energy are valuable. Think about it like this. If you're always bailing out a friend who never says thanks, they're gonna keep expecting it. But if you pull back and say, yo, I'm not your personal ATM, they start acting right. Same with your kids. You're not cutting them off. You're just making sure they see your efforts as something to respect, not something they're entitled to. Action 6. Build a life that ain't all about M. One of the most fire ways to get your kids' respect back is to show them your happiness doesn't revolve around M. As parents, it's natural to make your kids the center of your world. But as you get older, that vibe shifts. If you've spent your whole life putting M first, they might start seeing you as someone who's got nothing else going on. People respect folks who've got their own purpose, their own interests, their own vibe. If your kids see you leaning on M for entertainment, validation, or mayonnaise, they might start feeling trapped. Or worse, they might see you as someone with no life of their own. I knew this woman, Eleanor, a widow in her late 70s. After her husband passed, she poured everything into her kids' lives, checking in all the time, giving advice they didn't ask for, expecting M to fill the void her husband left. But instead of bringing them closer, it pushed them away. They visited less, their calls got shorter, and Eleanor felt more alone than ever. Then she made a move. She joined a book club, started traveling with friends, volunteered at a community center. She stopped making her kids the center of her world, and something wild happened. Her kids started reaching out more. They were curious about what she was up to, admired her hustle, respected her. If your kids ain't respecting you, ask yourself, do they see you as someone with a full, dope life or as someone waiting around for their attention? When you show them you're out here living, not just existing, they'll start seeing you in a whole new light. To keep this headed towards 17,000 characters, let's expand on this. Living a life outside your kids is like planting your own garden. You don't need M to water it for you to thrive. Eleanor's story is proof. She was so focused on her kids being her whole world that she forgot how to shine on her own. When she started doing her thing, book clubs, travel, volunteering, it was like she became a whole new person in their eyes. They didn't just respect her, they wanted to be part of her world. It's like when you've got a friend who's always got cool stuff going on, you want to hang with them because they're living their truth. Your kids are the same. When they see you out here with your own purpose, they don't just respect you, they're proud to call you their parent. Final thoughts. Respect ain't something you can demand from your kids. It's something you inspire by how you carry yourself, how you set boundaries, and how you live your life. If they're treating you with less care, less consideration, or less respect, don't waste your energy getting mad. Switch up your approach. Stop chasing their approval, because the less you need it, the more they'll give it. Led by example, because your dignity speaks louder than any words. Quit leaning on M for your happiness, because the more you stand on your own, the more they'll respect your vibe. Set boundaries, because people only treat you as good as you demand. Stop giving without getting props, because when your kindness is taken for granted, it loses its shine. And most importantly, build a life that ain't all about M, because people respect folks who've got their own purpose, their own joy, their own hustle. If you do these things, something wild will happen. Your kids will start seeing you different, not as someone waiting for their attention, but as someone who commands respect just by being who they are. And in time, that respect will come back, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it.